Hey everybody, welcome back to Soccerwise. David Goss here with a special episode. You will hear about it as we go through the episode, but Jordan is away in Portugal. We are in an international break right now, so no NWSL coming up this weekend. We have one game left in the regular season. We are getting ready for the playoffs, but of course that means we have a bunch of international games coming up, so we talked to some special guests. We have Meghan Klingenberg on, former U.S. women's national team player herself, a World Cup winner, a multi-time champion in NWSL, and one of my co-hosts on the U.S. Soccer podcast right now. We are going to talk to her all about her career, what it takes to win in NWSL, and really get behind in the mindset of what the KC Current are currently experiencing, of dominant in a regular season and now pushing into a title. We will talk about her time in the national team, her time as a pro, the people she has met across her career. We'll talk about this current crop of U.S. women's national team players and what especially these players that are pushing in for the first time, the Michelle Coopers, the Emma Sears, Lily Johannes, Olivia Moultrie, these young players, what's going on in their heads and their experience. And then we will talk about Pennsylvania, which is our 50th state and the home originally of Kling as well. And then we've got a great interview that we pre-recorded before Jordan left with Kristen Hamilton, who is one of a very few players who have won 4 NWSL Shields. She has done so across 3 different clubs, currently on the books with the KC Current, but headed to retirement at the end of this season and has the chance to lock down one more championship this year as the number 1 seed. So we talked all about her career, the shifts she has seen in the league, the experience of being a player, what it takes to win, what has been successful with all these teams she has been on, and of course, the coffee shop that she started with 6 of her teammates, which has become a staple in Kansas City, and maybe some breadcrumbs in there about it expanding as well. We will be back with our normal show next week, helping get you previewed as we head into the final week of the NWSL season, as well as reacting and recapping everything we see in the international windows. Reminder, the U.S. women's national team is playing in Pennsylvania, which is why they are our 50th state, to start this week of international games. And then they will head to Kansas City, actually. And of course, be very familiar with Kristen Hamilton and where she is playing and where she is located at CPKC Stadium. So a lot of games to follow. Women's AFCON is coming up as well, with some big qualifiers. The news coming out that Temwa Shawinga will not be a part of Malawi's games after she went down with an injury in the latest NWSL match window. Fingers crossed that she will be available for the playoffs. Be heartbreaking for her, the season she's had, and her ability and opportunity on the biggest stage to show herself and, of course, win a championship. It would be so brutal to see that taken away. And, of course, for KC, the team and the players and the fans and the city to not be able to see the best player in the league in the biggest games of the season. But it's something that we will keep monitoring and we will keep talking about going forward. Some of the big results from last weekend, if you missed it at all: Seattle with a huge win on Friday night over Utah, who have been the hottest team, and North Carolina with the goal-scoring explosion. 4 goals against Bay FC. Manaka, the youngest player in NWSL history to score a hat trick, and it was desperately needed for this North Carolina team if they are going to get this one last shot at the playoffs. They got a little bit closer to the line as Louisville tied 2-2 against Gotham FC. Not a bad result on the face of it. Of course, Gotham, a tough team to play and a big game for Louisville. But Louisville, as we said, had the toughest run-in towards the end of the season, and it only gets harder with the pressure coming on for this final weekend. It was a heartbreaking Rose Lavelle equalizer in the 86th minute to take the win away from Louisville and make things just a little bit tighter for them in the standings. So Louisville going into the final game of the season, 2 points ahead of North Carolina, and that is going to be the playoff race that we are going to be watching for, as Gotham in 7th place have clinched their playoff spot. And that means that there is only one playoff spot left to play for. Louisville playing against Bay FC, and North Carolina playing against Gotham. As we have talked about time and again, though, with the points so tight, Gotham could finish anywhere from 3rd to 6th. That means Orlando, Seattle, San Diego, and Portland have everything to play for on the final weekend of the regular season in NWSL. That's coming up on November 2nd. Talking about goal scoring explosions, Orlando come from behind win at Washington, a 3-2 victory. Marta inspiring them out of the halftime whistle, immediately forces an own goal and helps push her team forward for a big road victory. And the San Diego Wave 6-1 winners over the Chicago Stars. A little bit of off-field controversy there. Ella Masser frustrated with San Diego's actions around some of the stoppages. And it felt like San Diego, I think in her mind, with already a 3-4 goal lead, were maybe overly aggressive, more than they had to be in a game that was clearly already decided. But it was a relief for San Diego to finally see the ball hit the back of the net, and to do so a couple times, it pushes them all the way up to 5th place in the league. So enjoy all the national team games, and let's go to Meghan Klingenberg right now. Well, I am so excited about our next segment. It is going to be the biggest interview we have ever done here at Soccerwise. We have with us someone who needs no introduction, but I will do it anyway. 75 caps, 3 goals, 1 World Cup, 2 Shields, 2 championships, from Pittsburgh to the Galaxy, Meghan Klingenberg.
Oh my God. I didn't expect that, but I loved it.
For anyone who needs context, Meghan Klingenberg, of course, one of the great soccer players in world history, but also currently my co-host at the U.S. Soccer Podcast. We did a live show in Texas. We had our producer read up the introduction, had you down as the one introing Landon Donovan with all his stats, all his accolades, and you memorized it and you crushed it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I did. I was a little bit, nervous about it at first. And you're like, no, you know what? I'll take it. I was like, no,
Yeah,
I have practiced the hell out of this, and I will be introing Landon Donovan. Thank you very much.
It was also classic partnership stuff where I was like, I'll do it, but I just wouldn't have done it. I just would have said like legend, Landon Donovan. I just would have done that. And you were like, no, I've already memorized the whole thing. And I was like, oh, okay. You've put way more work into this, which I respect. And you should definitely be the one to handle it. And now I got to return the favor to you.
Yeah, it felt good. Thank you. Now I know how Landon felt in front of the crowd. It must have felt nice.
I didn't have as much good wordplay, so I'll work on that going forward. I need better wordplay in my introductions of you.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, I do appreciate a lot of wordplay. Like it is truly one of my favorite things in the world, are like puns and wordplay and puzzles and stuff like that. So do work it in.
If it makes you happy, in my household, we now have the Kling candle that I reference every time when we light it, which, by the way, anyone who works in my building, we don't ever light candles. That's never happened a single time. But when, let's say we would, when we're out, because you were nice enough to bring us a gifted candle from your partner's company, and it smells amazing. And her name is Ingrid and your name is Kling, and you guys combined it. And I think that's the greatest thing ever.
Thank you. Yeah, I do think we have a pretty rad couple name, Klingrid, but she is just super talented at what she does. And scent has not really been a sense that I explored or really thought about past food before I met her. And she's really just opened my eyes up to this whole new world. And it's really nice being able to share that with your co-hosts.
Yeah.
So it was lovely. And I'm glad Meghan likes it. That's truly who I was like, your
Targeting.
wife. I was truly, I was targeting her 100%.
You were right to, because I'm not an active, like, changing scents type person. Like, I want things to smell something, but if it doesn't, I don't like think to be like, oh, I should go actively do something to change this. And she's the one who would. So you're absolutely right. Well, for anyone who's saying get to the soccer, we will at some point eventually. You, of course, longtime NWSL player with Portland and Houston, longtime national team player as well. And we have a national team game coming up for the U.S. women, 3 games in this window, a really interesting roster. So we're going to talk all about that. We also have NWSL on the verge of the playoffs. We have 1 game left in the regular season. We're waiting for the end of the international break for that as well. So I'm going to pick your brain a little bit, big picture about the experience going into the stretch run of the season. And then we're going to talk about Pennsylvania, because in our 50 states of soccer, we are up to PA. And I was talking to you a few months ago about one state, and I asked you a question about a player, and you said, who's on the Pennsylvania list? Like immediately. And I was like, competitive juices are flowing. And I promised you that when we got there, that I would bring you on. So now we are in the right place to do it. And we're going to talk PA from the western side of the state, though, right? The true side of Pennsylvania.
West Coast, best coast.
Is that a phrase that people in Pittsburgh use?
No, absolutely not. I just stole that from California.
I know. But there's like moments where you meet someone from a state and they're like, oh, I'm from the Tri-Cities. And you're like, which Tri-Cities? And then they name 3 places that you're like, no one... Or someone's like, oh, island culture. Like, I'm from Wilmington, North Carolina. You're like, that's not really what I would associate with that. So I didn't know if there was a vibe that people in Pittsburgh are the West Coast people of Pennsylvania. All right, let's start with NWSL.
Okay.
Because we have a season. We went through it last week. Myself and Jordan talked about. So last year, we had 4 teams at the top of the standings.
Mm-hmm.
All 4 of them will finish on a higher points total than the number 2 team in the league this year. So it's a very different season. And we've had this back and forth in past years, dominant forces, a couple dominant teams. This year, it really is like most teams in the middle. The lower has gotten a little bit higher. And then Kansas City is just running away with absolutely everything. So I'm curious from your experience, you won 2 Shields. The mental shift of what maybe the people inside of Kansas City are going through, going from we are rolling over everyone to single elimination, 1 mistake and you're out, to really sort of make your season worth it, quote unquote, because you've won a trophy, but the championship at the end of the season is kind of the thing you're now gunning for.
Right. I mean, I think there's like 3 questions in there. So let's kind of parse it out. The first thing is I love the Shield. It's such a cool thing to win because it shows who the best team is
You are
over
preaching
a
to the choir right now.
a long period of time. Like the consistency of Kansas City has been really impressive, and it's hard to do over a 10-month stretch. That's arguably one of the hardest things to do in sport. So achieving that, hats off to them. That's really tough. But what I will say is that when you're running away with it like Kansas City is, you don't have the type of pressure that you're going to feel when November comes around and it's single elimination. So you have to be constantly working on the mental game and working on how do we replicate the type of pressure that we're going to face in the playoffs? Or how do we get ourselves to the place where we don't feel the pressure? Like every game is just the same thing and we show up and we do what we need to do. Like you either need to go one of 2 ways, whatever fits your team.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the season, they're going to be playing and they're just going to be like, let's see how much better we can get. Because they've already locked up the Shield. They've already locked up a home playoff match. They've already locked up like a first round bye or whatever. Like all of the things that they could lock up, they've locked up. But then there's this shift and it doesn't matter anymore. And everybody's even. So everyone goes back to the beginning of the season and you're going to play this mini tournament at the end of the year and just see who wins it, and that's who wins the whole year. And that takes a whole different type of mentality, I think, that you're not going to get from being 20 points ahead in the Shield race. So it's basically how does Kansas City take what they've learned over the season and translate that into the single elimination sort of round, because everyone's able to be beat. Maybe out of 100 games, they'd win 98 or they'd win 97 of them. But the reason why people like these playoffs is because there's that, 1%, 2%, 3% chance that they don't.
Yeah.
And how do you deal with that? Like, okay, if we lose, we're out sort of situation. Because that's just a totally different feeling than being in regular season.
One of the things I think I like about the new setup, even though for winning, you don't get accelerated into the next round on a bye. I do think in the past, it felt like the teams coming out of the first round were a little more locked into that mentality because they played one playoff game versus the teams on a bye kind of just waiting. So even though the threat is now, oh no, we could lose in the quarterfinals, the option there is, but you're not playing a team that's come out of this single elimination. So at least you're even in that part going into the first game of the playoffs.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Our team always kind of struggled with the bye week.
Yeah.
And then going into the playoffs, there's like this trade-off between rest and mentality. And I think that sometimes at the end of the year, people are just cruising on mentality, and it doesn't necessarily matter how fit you are or how rested you are. It's all about what's up here because it's just so it's 90 minutes and that's it. And you just have to win every minute of those 90 minutes. And if you're not ready for that, that could be a huge disaster for the group. And I've seen it happen multiple times. I've been a part of it, unfortunately, once or twice.
It's a bizarre resume, which is you've won 2 Shields, and then both times the year after you won 2 championships, but separate seasons.
Kind of wild. I will say, though, the 2021 Shield was really fun, and it was also one of the hardest seasons that I've ever personally had, and I think everybody else on the team would say the same thing. That's when the Paul Riley allegations came to light, and there was a huge reckoning within the sport and within the NWSL in general. And our team, rightly so, got absolutely pounded in the press. We were being asked to do things that we never have been asked to do, and called on to protect people when we didn't know who should be protected and who shouldn't be protected.
You're in the middle of the storm.
It was an absolute shit show. And I think that truly weighed on the team to the point where we were just too tired to continue. And I know that sounds bad, but like people were emotionally wrecked by that, like what happened and how it was handled in those moments. Well, how we found out it was handled, but then also how it was handled in the moments when the shitstorm was happening. And all of those things added up to this emotional burden where we couldn't continue to, put on the armor and just win at all costs. Like there comes a point where you're just not able to do that anymore, and our point came. And what's so sad about it is arguably, I think in that year we could have possibly been the best team in the world, winning the Challenge Cup, the International Cup against, Barcelona, the likes of Chelsea and different teams from internationally, and then winning the Shield. And before that, in 2020, we won the Fall Challenge, which was part of the, the bubble year.
Yeah.
So we won like 4 competitions in a row. Every single competition that you could win 4 in a row, boom, and internationally, and weren't able to then win the championship. And so I think that just took its toll. And then you can see like the quality of that team, and it carried over into 2022, and then we're able to win the championship there.
Yeah, I was at that championship game. It was the first one that I ever went to, and
oh wow.
There did not feel like a large amount of time where it felt like you were going to lose that game. Obviously, KC a bit of an upset going into it, but it was like, oh, this is like a thoroughly dominant appearance where I haven't been to a lot of finals like that. Like there's always the jeopardy in a single game final, whether it's an Open Cup, whether it's an international tournament, whatever it's been that I've been at, where you're like, yeah, this could all swing on a kick. That one didn't feel that way. I wasn't at the 2015 final. I'm sure that one didn't feel that way either. But both of them, I would say. But 2022, it felt like this is a team on a mission and knew exactly what they were doing.
After the first 5 minutes in the 2022 final, I was like, oh, this is ours.
Yeah.
Like, we are going to grab this by the back of the neck and just like pin it down and never let them up.
Yeah.
And we did. And it was some of the best soccer that we had played all year. I feel like we were playing at our 100%, and Kansas City wasn't able to find their 100%, which was arguably probably because we were able to find ours, and we were relentless in our pressure in moving the ball quickly. And then we just had like really talented players that were just like on a different level that day. It was super fun to be a part of and super emotional. And yeah, it was a great team.
Little cross promo here. So you have sat down with a listener, which we're going to be running on our U.S. Soccer podcast show over the
Yes.
next 2 weeks. So I highly recommend everyone go over and listen to that one. You flew out to Chicago. You sat down in person with someone you've known. How long?
Since we were 12.
Since you were 12. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of background there and a lot of experience. I was not there, so I'm super excited to hear it and listen to it. And you can watch it on YouTube as well. But this is part of, we have talked about it many times on our show, your year where you have now retired from the game
Yeah.
professionally and now doing some other stuff. And I'm just curious, as you look back at this time of year, as we get to the end of the season, your first season not playing, as we enter the playoffs and we think back on these memories, like what's your thoughts about the decision you made and sort of what it's like now watching the soccer world from a different angle?
I think at the beginning of retirement, it was really difficult for me because I'm like, what legacy did I leave? Did I reach all the goals that I wanted to reach? Am I truly done? Like, I still have fun playing. And moving through all of those emotions and that grief is really difficult to navigate, especially at first. I think ultimately I'm still navigating those things, and I think that I always will. It was a huge part of my life, and I don't remember a part of my life when soccer wasn't the main priority,
Mm.
and now it's not. And at the same time, I feel like a freedom that I haven't felt in a really like, maybe ever. I feel free to pursue things that just tickle my fancy and that maybe I didn't pursue earlier because I'm like, "Oh, I have to rest for a game. I
Mm.
have to rest for the weekend, and now I can go hiking when I want to and have a beer on the weekend and, just enjoy family time that I haven't been able to really put in the amount of time that I've wanted to over holidays or weddings or funerals and all these different things that are really important to human connection. They've been kind of neglected, not due to me not like wanting to do them,
Hmm.
but just not being able to be there. And so catching up with friends and connecting with my family has been so awesome. I feel like I have better relationships with everybody than I did before. And um I will say it's still hard for me to like watch soccer yet. I enjoy kind of like watching it as a fan in person. 'Cause I love feeling the energy in the crowd, but, like, watching it on TV right now has not been super fun for me
Yeah.
'cause it just feels like I'm back as a player because 'cause I'm watching it so critically, and, like, we used to watch all of our games numerous times. It would
Hmm.
take me hours to get through them every week, from, like, a critical standpoint, and so I do not miss that part of it, and I really, really, really hope that I'll get back to the place where I can just be a fan, but I'm still learning.
It is, it's interesting whenever we've talked about it where, the experiences that you've gone through and we've sort of talked of like using the phrase retirement at a time when you're like entering the prime of your life and have so much to
Yeah.
accomplish. And we'll talk to Kristen Hamilton about it coming up. Obviously, we heard the news around Christian Press and Lou Barnes last week as well. So it feels like there is a generation of players who really built NWSL that are now preparing to end their careers. And I think it's a big deal for a lot of fans because these are the faces and the names that they didn't just become fans of for their team. They are their team. Like
Mhm.
Seattle fans don't know a world without Barnes on the field, same as Portland fans didn't know a world without yourself and Sync and all of that as a part of the group.
I know, it's very weird. It's so weird to imagine a world without Kristen Press and Tobin Heath and Meghan Klingenberg and Lou Barnes and Kristen Hamilton in it. Kelly O'Hara, Krieger. I mean, there's just so
Yeah.
many people over the last 2, 3 years who have decided to try something different and try something new. One of the things that's been really fun, that was watching my friends and seeing what they're getting into next and how they're pursuing it with, like, the same type of
Yeah.
enthusiasm and mentality as they pursued soccer, and I'm just kinda like, "Okay, watch out, world."
Yeah. Yeah, there is a generation of World Cup winners, dominant athletes, and high achievers who changed the world, who are now ready and have a lot more free time to do absolutely whatever they want. Let's talk a second about the U.S. women's national team before we get into Pennsylvania and our favorites. A lot of these people you met through the national team. I'm curious if you think back to the moment we're at right now, which is a year and a half out of the World Cup. Emma Hayes
Mhm.
spent this last year giving other players opportunities. And part of that was because of the openings that, triple espresso, two players out on maternity leave. Trinity Rodman struggled with injuries, unfortunately, once again. Like there's been all
Right.
this opportunity. And it felt like when we got this latest roster, and I know we were together getting ready to record as it dropped, as we got it, it was like, okay, this feels like we're starting to now mix it of all the people who had their chances, plus we know the staples of, Lindsay and Naomi Girma when she's healthy, and the players, Sam Coffey, that will be around and we expect to be the core. And I'm curious what the feeling is from your experience for these players like the Emma Sears and the Claire Huttons and the Olivia Moultries, who were part of the experimental process, but now I think gets their first picture into, okay, I'm really in this group and like it's my chance now to try and take a spot on this roster going forward.
Yeah, that was me in 2011, right out of college
Mm.
when I came in before the 2011 World Cup, and it's tough. It's such a tough position to be in. I think that they probably have a little bit easier of the time breaking in and feeling comfortable in that environment because they're already in a pro environment. So
Hmm.
they know what it means to be a pro. They know how to act, how to do the recovery strategies, what is expected of them from like a maturity and emotional level. Whereas I was like coming off partying on the weekends after we, destroyed
Soccer
teams at
house.
UNC. Yeah, exactly. Like, so I do think they have a big leg up in terms of they know what it takes to be a professional because they've been living it for the last 2, 3 years, and Moultrie's been living it for, like, 7.
Yeah. Right.
So I do think, like, that's a huge leg up. I don't see them right now as, like, the 100% in the group that's
Hmm.
going to the World Cup. And I think that they have a great opportunity to be in that place. I think they just need to continue growing, getting better, learning, being open-minded to feedback, and just keep getting into camp.
Yeah.
Like, stay healthy, get into camp, go, perform, do what you gotta do, and then just see what happens. I think for them to be thinking out to the World Cup is probably a little bit too far thinking. I think they just need to stay right in the moment and be like, "Okay, if I show up and be me, that's enough. I'm gonna just keep, working on keep getting better each day." And then I think if they look back when they're at the World Cup, and be like, "Oh, wow, that was a year and a half ago. I've grown so much since then." But to, like, focus on the present
Yeah.
instead of focusing on that future person, I
Right.
think will do them a world of good.
Is there a shift experience? I don't know what better phrase to use, but I'll say from hunter to hunted. Like you're gunning for a spot, you're on the outside, you're scrappy versus being established and protecting your spot. Like, is there a shift internally in how you handle it?
Well, I don't think there should be, but I think there often is, and I think that's a lot of times why we see these sophomore slumps.
Mm.
Is because people, when they're first years or rookies, they come in, they have absolutely no expectations on them. Literally, people do not care what you do. They're like, "Oh, who's this new person coming here? And
Right.
I hope they run around and have a good time." And because there is no expectations, I feel like they find a level that they didn't even know they had inside of them, because they're like, "Wow, I feel so free. I'm feeling so
Right.
free." And then going into the next year, it's like, "Oh my god, I have to do that all again? What if I
Yeah.
can't do that?" And, like, these thoughts start to come in, and that's why we see people not live up to the level that they had their rookie year. And that's kind of what you're talking about with this hunter-hunted sort of situation. How do you keep that same mentality of being like, "Wow, nobody expects anything of me. I'm playing completely free. I'm gonna run around out there and have fun." Because I guarantee that's when you play your best. I guarantee that's when every single person on this planet plays their best. So how can you train yourself to be in that mindset no matter if you're Lindsay Heaps, who's has like
Right.
150 caps, or whether you're Olivia Moultrie chasing the bubble to get on the
Yeah.
roster?
Yeah. I also thought it was fascinating. I was lucky enough. We did a live recording with one of your best friends and Becky when you first retired, and Lindsay, and hearing all of you talk about all of these other responsibilities that people don't think about as you become a veteran and a captain,
Mm,
especially of like,
totally.
there's a lot going on that's not just playing soccer. And it feels like all of that builds the longer you're in the group.
Oh, 100%. Like, the older you are, the more veteran you become, the more is asked of you. You're asked to start taking care of not just yourself, but other people. You're asked to start interacting with people outside of the team and be like a medium between, like, a liaison between ownership and the
Mm,
team, between fans and the team. You're supposed to be like the
right.
spokesperson for the group. You have to, like, start thinking about, "Okay, what's best for the group and not just what's best for me." You have to start thinking about, "How can I get everybody to buy into this culture and this group? How do I get some of the players who talk maybe a little bit too much to tone it down so other players have an opportunity to speak and be able to get their point of view and their, um, kind of, like, put their stamp on the culture, because some people are gonna make a huge impression and some
Mm.
people are not. So there are just so many more things that you're doing as a veteran player, even if you're not captain and have that label. There's a lot that's asked of you.
Yeah, it's fascinating as I listen to all of the things you're talking about of like, oh, whoa, that's its own job. Like that's a full-time role of being
100%.
all these things while also still expected to probably be the player that all of it is built around and the linchpin on the field and playing at your highest level and all of that. That feels like a lot.
Yeah, and then you have to think about too, like, a lot of these players are dealing with, like, responsibilities outside of that whole world in general. So you have motherhood, you have, like, brand deals and partnerships with Nike and other, like, people make a lot of money that way, and I will never fault them
Yeah.
for doing that. Like, do what you gotta do. So they're not only just, like, taking care of themselves, their team, their family, but they're also having to think about, like, their career outside of just playing. It's a lot. It truly is a lot.
I want to talk about Pennsylvania before I let you
Yes.
go. You are from Gibsonia. Did I say that right?
Yes. Yes, you
We
crushed it.
we met a Pittsburgh fan in Austin, and I was like, "Oh, she's from," and I knew that I had read it, and I knew it started
Butchered
with the
it.
G. I didn't know what it was without reading it, and both of you were like, "Pff, "You mean Gibsonia? Get out of my face!" So now I'm just trying to make amends to the world of Pittsburgh, and I have a million questions, but the first one is like, as you went about your career, you are, and we've talked soccer a million times. You're one of the best soccer minds in the world. You're one of the best left backs in the history of the world. Was there like all these moments where you're like, I'm just a kid from Gibsonia? And like the fact that you know what I mean? It's not a soccer hotbed in my mind, where it's like
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
where that person comes out of.
So it's not necessarily a soccer hotbed, but I do think it's a sports hotbed in general. There's a lot of great athletes that
Hmm.
have come out of there, whether it's men's or women's, and I think that we still see that happening now. And so maybe not in soccer, because I think some other places kind of got the jump on Western PA in terms of, like, creating clubs and
Hmm.
systems that can put people in positions to be scouted and stuff like that. But I don't think it's, like, a bad place to be. It certainly is a wonderfully, like, local place, and that's, like, by far one of my favorite things about it. And I guess like, I never really thought of myself as othered than just, like, Meghan Klingenberg from Gibsonia, Pennsylvania. Like, I never thought of myself anything other than that, and that's probably due to my mother, who was, like, on it,
Yeah.
on it. It was, like, 2 days after the World Cup, and I'm, like, on Taylor Swift's stage and having the time of my life, and she's like, "Don't forget who you are." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Oh my god, I'm not."
Yeah, you got your
not.
big fancy New York time, but don't forget, Pittsburgh is where you were made. So
Don't forget who you are.
what was the soccer scene in Western PA when you were growing up? What was the culture and like how did you come through it?
Oh gosh, I think I actually had a little bit of a rough time. I certainly was the kid that was just, like, trying to have fun and playing. I was always trying to find, like, the best level, so
Mhm.
whether that was playing with boys or 2 years up. When I started playing ODP, I played 2 years above my age, and, that was really hard because the girls certainly did not like that I was doing something like that. So they made it really hard for me, so I think in some moments I had like a big chip on my shoulder because nobody wanted me to do it.
Mhm.
And I'm like, why not? Like people like from Pittsburgh don't make it out of here for soccer. Why wouldn't we root for somebody to do that? And I think that part was really hard. And at the same time, like I have some incredible people that are still in my life from like my youth soccer times, whether it's my coach Jonelle or whether it's like all the friends that my parents made, they still come over and like have a great time hanging out together. And so I just think there was some really amazing parts of it, and then there were some parts that were really tough. But who doesn't have like tough moments growing up, you know?
Is there cuz you mentioned ODP, that's statewide. Is there a
Yep.
split Western PA
There
and
is,
Eastern
yeah.
PA when you're in those camps?
PA West, yeah, PA West, yeah. So I was literally the only kid
No.
from PA West in all of the regional camps, all of the national team camps, and then, like, all the kids from Eastern PA, New Jersey, Massachusetts, they all knew each other because
Right.
they're, like, the ones that were always chosen, so I was always showing up without friends because I didn't know anybody, so I was having to, like, make friends, on
Which is
teams
so hard for
everywhere
you.
that I went. It's very difficult for me. I have a personality that grinds people's gears.
Yeah, but you grind them down to best friends. That's what you
I
do.
grind them down. Yes.
We do our five-a-side, which is, not positional, but we do 5 great soccer players from every state. Some states
Let's
are
go.
hard to get enough. Some states are hard to fit everyone
'Kay.
in. Pennsylvania leans more on that side. We have a list of names. We're going to go through it
'Kay.
over the course of the week. So you don't have to be the final say on any of this. But is there
Great.
any first names that come to your mind of like, these are the soccer legends of the state of Pennsylvania?
Well, I mean, isn't Christian Pulisic from
He is.
Pennsylvania? So, obviously Christian Pulisic, Meghan Klingenberg. And
Oh.
then, we got, Veronica Latsko.
Mm-hmm.
She just retired. She was from Pittsburgh. We got a new young kid, Shapansky.
Mm-hmm.
She's on Gotham.
Balling.
Although I don't think that I put her on the five-a-side yet,
Yeah.
but, like, I'm real proud of her, and we're definitely rooting for her.
Yes.
Let's see.
We love a
Who else we
two-footed
got?
active center mid. So Sarah Shapansky right into the mold.
Who does it?
Yeah.
Who does
High
it?
soccer IQs.
Yeah, I love it. It's been fun watching her play, and I think Gotham's are obviously a hard team to break into, so, it's nice to see her get some playtime there.
Do you like when you run into people? Is it like, or when someone like that enters a league or a team or whatever, is there like a Pittsburgh group chat? Is there a Pennsylvania group chat that
No,
everyone's
but
not?
there should be, and
There
I
should
feel
be.
like I might start one now that you say that.
yes.
No, I've never talked to her. After the rain games, me and Latsko would just like catch up a little bit, but it was nothing like ever. Let's trade numbers and make a group chat. But now that I feel like there's a few, oh, how could I forget this? Megan Schnurr. She needs to be in the
Okay.
five-a-side.
I
Uh,
thought you were going to say the one that I was about to say. There is
What?
one Central PA, which my friend Bobby Washaw will say we have to rep, which I appreciate. And Abby Dahlkemper makes it very easy to do.
Oh, right. Yes.
Because she is Lancaster area, which I think is Central PA.
It's Lancaster. It's Lancaster.
This is a tough moment for me.
Yeah, this is tough. Yeah. I feel like you can't come to Pennsylvania and have any like you just have to be open to being corrected about like all the pronunciation. They just don't make sense. Yeah. Like we have like the Allegheny River, which if you tried to spell that, you'd be like, what is happening here? The Monongahela, like we got all kinds of stuff and people struggle with it, but yeah, you'll get there.
Okay. I will work on it. We will be continuing to talk about this. There are, as you said, there are a lot of good names. On the men's side, Jim Curtin is one that will come up. Zach Steffen as well.
Yeah, Zach. Yeah. He even played in Pittsburgh for the Riverhounds for a little bit.
Yeah. And he was around Philly's Academy. I don't know that he ever actually played for them. And then he left. And then Philly's Academy has been really good. Not everyone is a Philly player in that. They tend to recruit in. But Quinn Sullivan doing a great job. And obviously his younger brother, Kevin. The hope is he will be someone on this list going forward. I believe Ben Olsen as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Ben Olsen. Where's Ben from?
Okay, that's a great question and one I probably should have had. See, in my mind, he's Maryland. So that's normally where I go because he played in D.C. Middletown, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
So I've never heard of it.
Close to me. Yeah, me neither.
It's not a cool place
me neither.
It is in sort of the middle of the state. Southeast of the state.
The middle of the state's tough. There's just like a lot of small towns.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful though. Like it's very untouched. You don't get much of that on the East Coast. And it's like really like gorgeous. Yeah. No, not even. There's just like a lot of big like trees and hills and old forest. It's nice.
I've driven through it twice on the way to Columbus, where I've stopped through Pittsburgh as well. But I've never spent enough time in Pittsburgh. So that is my goal for 2026. Is to spend time in Pittsburgh. So send me all the recs. And Kling, thanks for being here.
Honestly, hang out with my mom. She would she'll take you everywhere that you want to go. Like she's a blast.
We were passing ships in New York one time, and I was very sad that I was like, oh, I'm free. I'm around. I was not, and that was the only thing I wanted to do because you were like, oh, she's coming to New York. We're gonna hang out. I was like, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, but then you had to go to the UN and do a whole recording at the UN, like a very cool person that you are. And my mom was like, we're going to go stand in line for salt tanks, the French dip TikTok phenomenon. So we did that instead.
I will say this on New York last thing. When people visit, there are some tourist things that are worth doing, and you'll never do them except for when someone's being a tourist. So sometimes those are worthwhile.
I mean, I had a blast. It was just fun hanging with my mom, and we actually chatted this guy in line because we were standing there for an hour. And so we were shooting the shit with him, and the lady who was doing the hostessing, so the hostess, she was like, so 3? And he like looked at us. We're like, why not? And so we just had lunch with this guy that we met in line, and it felt like a very cool New York moment, and it was fun to share that with my mom.
It's a cool New York moment, but it's also something out of like a Steve Martin movie where it's like the person who's not the New Yorker in New York being friendly to everyone. It's like Will Ferrell and Elf, just like saying hi to everyone, which is one of the greatest movies of all time. So it's a great character.
Oh, and speaking of, my mom, she was like, oh, watch this on her way out. And I was like, oh my God, what are you going to do? She walks out like she's with the hostess and she's like, oh man, we're all sold out for the day. To the people that are in line for an hour and a half.
At a place she's not associated to.
By the way, no one laughed, and she was shocked. Shocked. She was shocked. And I was like, why are you shocked? These people just waited an hour and a half for this, like, TikTok phenom French dip. And some random lady comes out and tries to make a joke about, like, that's never going to hit, sis.
That is hilarious. And on that note, we should end. And next interview about Pennsylvania will be, of course, with your mother. And thank you for taking the time now. but you're getting cut for the clearly the comedian, the performer of the family next time. Meghan Klingenberg, one of the greats. Listen to our podcast, the U.S. Soccer Podcast. We come out on every Wednesday. 2-part series with a listener coming out in a little bit. So go listen to that one. And in general, thank you for doing this.
Yeah, glad to be here. It's always fun to shoot the shit with you.
Thank you so much to Kling. Always fun chatting with her. She is one of the best people I have been lucky enough to meet, and so thankful for her taking the time to join us. Now, let's go to our second interview of the episode, more NWSL focused, but Kristen Hamilton announcing that she is on the verge of her retirement after 11 seasons in NWSL, started her career at the Western New York Flash alongside a veteran, Jordan Angeli. So all three of us sat down and chatted a little bit. Take a listen right here. Well, we've got a special episode here today with the international break coming up and Jordan in Portugal living her best life. But we pre-recorded an interview and we are very, very excited for this segment and to talk right now with Kristen Hamilton, who has just announced her retirement from NWSL and professional soccer after 11 years, over 140 appearances, 4 shields, and 3 championships, and could be one more as it comes. Current KC, forward Kristen Hamilton. Kristen, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
there's
we're
a couple.
excited. Wait,
there's
you
a
said
couple
current
accolades in
Casey
there.
current.
I know.
Current
Yeah.
Casey current.
Hey,
That's
when
a
I
lot.
first joined the team, you would Google current roster, like Casey current roster, or whatever you'd Google, and the Chiefs like roster would come up, and you're like, because it was like thinking like you're like, what is the current Kansas City? But now it's changed, so
Wow.
progress.
I like it.
That's the progress we
Yeah.
like to hear.
Progress.
Yeah. In writing a couple of these questions, I was like, oh, I have to take out the word current
Yeah.
and not use it there. There's a couple of accolades, though, that I went through in there. A couple of championships. It seems like you are very experienced in championships, and that's probably a good thing.
Yeah, I would say so. It's been definitely a highlight of my career for sure.
Is there a way you like to celebrate? Is there a
good
best way to celebrate?
Champagne showers, obviously, is pretty fun after the game in the locker rooms. Just seeing everybody get together and the season's so long, so to get together and just be able to like pop that bottle and be like, holy cow, we did it, is a lot of fun. But there's always a few post-game celebrations too, so anything's fun.
Sorry, Jordan, you can go after this, but I have to ask this one question, which is, I'm scared of champagne opening. Like, I'm like crazy about it when people do it. I'm like, put a towel over it, hide it here.
No.
So like, is there
Oh,
never
no.
any issues with that? Like, everyone's just partying and no one cares?
Yeah, no one cares. It's like, just cover your eyes, try not to point it at people, but anything's fair game at that point.
Wherever the
You got
cork
off
goes,
season
it
to
goes.
recover, so
I love that. Yeah, Kristen, as Goss said, it's been an awesome career for you, and this is always an interesting moment in players' careers when they finally decide, okay, I'm ready to move on. For you, what really went into that decision?
a lot of things. Obviously, it's just been kind of a tough 2 years for me, these last 2 years. Last year was just more so dealing with not really getting much playing time. Had a lot of really talented players come into the lineup and on our roster, so kind of having to navigate and deal with that. And kind of came full circle. It's kind of how I started my career. I had a great middle part of my career and kind of ended on the same note. So I felt like I was a little bit more prepared for kind of that moment. But this year it's just been a little tough with injuries in and out of team trainings and trying to kind of just get healthy. So just weighing those kind of things. And I've started some businesses and have gotten really excited about kind of what the future has for me. So weighing all of that together, I was like, you know what, I'm ready to just kind of dive into what's next. And it's been a really fun run, and, I'm going to miss a lot of things about it. But yeah, I'm really excited about the future.
Yeah. You
Jordan, I know
emotional
you've-
right there. Sorry.
I was swallowing, but probably emotional too.
It looked like your eyes were watering.
Oh, probably. I mean, I've been in and out of crying, happy, sad, like literally feeling all of the emotions. But overall, I'm very excited for what's next.
So Jordan has lived this more than I ever will, and many other people. As you have that thought process, who do you talk to? And then once you decide, what actually happens then of like who you have to tell in what order and how it has to happen?
Yeah, that was honestly a question I kind of had. I'm like, who do I need to tell this to? I obviously like told my partner first, and I'm like, okay, this is what's happening and this is what we're doing. And she was like, okay, like I support you in whatever you need to do for this. So that was great. And she's on the team. So it was like easy to be like, okay, I'm going to tell you, but let's not tell everyone else. And then that was like my ease into it. And then I just kind of randomly blurted it out to one other player randomly one day. And then I was like, it was Laurel Ivory. I was like, and I'm retiring. She's like, oh, okay, congrats. Like, this is amazing. And I'm like, I should probably tell the whole team at this point now that I'm like feeling like ready and more open to being able to kind of say that out loud. So I started with that, kind of sprinkled it in with my family. I knew they were going to be really emotional about it. So I was just like, it's fine. I'm good. I'm retiring. Bye. And like kind of glazed that one over. But then I ended up I actually told the coaches and our general manager first. And then a few weeks later, ended up telling the team. And I don't think there's any real right way to do it. I was just kind of like, I'm going to let them know so they can start planning on their end. And then when it came to it, I was like, okay, I should probably let the team know. And that was a hard moment, but
yeah, I bet, because a lot of those players you've played with for a long time, and you mentioned it's kind of full circle, but I think in ways too, Kristen, this team is so much better regardless of you stepping foot on the field. Having you there, that has to feel good to have a role, even in the times where you're like, I can't help on the field, whether it's due to injury or not getting selected. You're a winner, and they've built that off of you being a winner. Have you found a role within this group?
Yeah, definitely. I think that like I said, kind of that full circle moment of like having experienced all of everything throughout my career. I've been non-traveling. I've been close to being waived on teams. I've been a super sub. I've then been a starter, and then kind of, I've done all of it. So I feel like I've really been able to connect with a lot of players. And this year, I've been a lot of times in the weight rooms, in the training rooms, just kind of trying to get healthy. So a lot of the other players that have come through there, I feel like I've really connected with a lot of them. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I've really been able to help kind of those players through that. And so that's kind of been more so my role this year. I feel like a little bit more off the field stuff and helping players who are maybe dealing with longer term injuries, being able to get through those.
Yeah, Goss, before we go to the next thing, I just have to say, like, I can just imagine. I was teammates with Kristen in Western New York. Her rookie season, it was my last season of the year. And her just talking about the ups and downs. The thing that everybody will know about Kristen when they listen to this is she shows up every day. She's smiling. She has good energy. She sets the vibes. She's joking in the locker room. She's all the things that you want of a teammate on the field, but also off the field. She's going to give you every single thing that she has every day. And I can just imagine you, Kristen, in the locker room or in the weight room right now, like doing your stuff. And of course, focus and hardworking and that, but like also setting the mood. Like, hey, we're going to get better today. We're going to enjoy this too. We're going to make it, even though we're not where we want to be right here in the weight room, we'd rather be on the field. Like, we're going to have a good time with it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, obviously we got the Kelly Clarkson bumping.
Yes,
we got to get the vibes up. We got to get some karaoke moments in there, so yeah, I try to keep vibes high. Obviously it's up and down every day, emotional, but I'm always trying to bring the vibes.
We didn't have this on the rundown, but I'm throwing it in here. What is a veteran Jordan Angeli like as a rookie coming into a locker room? Because I've been in spaces with Jordan
legendary.
for the first time, being intimidated. So yeah. I didn't know the experience.
She was honestly our coach. Like, it was not an easy environment to be in. And I mean, seriously, we all looked up to Jordan. It was, if we ever had questions, if we ever had doubts, concerns, whatever it was like Jordan's always going to speak up for us. She's always going to support us. She's always going to be somebody we can go to and like be an advocate for us as players. And I mean, yeah. And then legendary on the field, she steps on the field and is scoring goals and just has such a presence on the field. And for her to, go through what she went through that year too. I mean, and then to show up for us every day, it was incredible. Somebody to definitely look up to.
Well, thank you. I did not expect that to be happening, but appreciate it, Goss, and appreciate the kind words, Kristen. Yeah, I just feel you look back on things and you know that there's a purpose in it, and that was a really hard year, but so cool to see all those young rookies that were on that team go on to do really big things and to have big voices and not to be afraid to stick up for things when they weren't right. Because Goss, I played in WPS, so I knew a very different league than early days NWSL. Yeah. And I was like, no. You don't treat people like this. So me, I kind of got a little bit of an attitude sometimes. I'll stand up for people when need be.
So, Kristen, tell us a little bit maybe about the contrast in 2025 on the KC Current versus in 2014 with Western New York Flash. Like, I don't even know where to start that question.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'll just start with I always tell our players these stories today, and they just absolutely cannot believe it. And they're like, no way, this is what you guys did. I'm like, yeah, we're living with host families, which shout out to the Malloys. Absolutely love my host family.
You, Malloys.
I had an incredible host family. So many players did not. I have horror stories of players having terrible host families. But living in host families, getting paid $6,000 is the minimum salary in the league for the year. So, I don't know how we survived. Side hustles, second jobs. Obviously, the Malloys, they supported me, gave me food every single day to be able to keep training. We drove 2 hours to our home games in a bus. They rattled the whole time. We'd get there and we're playing on a turf field that doesn't belong to us, that has maybe 200 awesome fans in the stands. But just, at the time, you didn't really know. Ignorance was bliss. But now, look at the stadium that's built for us in a city that you can't go anywhere without seeing our colors, with sold out games every single weekend to, the contrast, you can't even compare. It's just night and day different. But it is incredible. I never thought I'd see the growth of the league get to where it's at within, 10, 12 years.
We were going to ask about with KC, we see the 15 to 20 home games where it's sold out, it's loud, whatever. Yeah. And that's great. But what is it like being a KC Current player on the other 300? I'm going to try and do math on the fly. 343 days of the year. Like you just said, the difference is what is it like inside the market as a player on this team day in and day out?
Oh yeah, it's awesome. Now seriously, you can hardly go out and go to the grocery store without somebody recognizing you, which is unbelievable. Some days you're like, oh, great, I look terrible. Please don't recognize me. But most of the time, it's great. It's really cool. And, you go in places and people just randomly yell out, good luck tonight, or, we love you guys, or whatever. Or just even so many people you'll see at the grocery stores or at the shops just wearing KC Current gear in general. You see stickers on cars. It's just so cool. And then even with, the business, we started with Pitchside Coffee, our coffee shop, every single game day, anytime we have any event there, you always see people show up and turn up for us, and they've always supported us. So it's been, it's been incredible. The fans have been, it's been awesome and made this experience so cool.
I gotta know really quick, Goss. I gotta know, what's the weirdest thing, or when is the strangest place that someone was like, hey, can I get a picture, or have they asked for an autograph, or...
Well, honestly, recently we were just at dinner with E's mom at somewhere so far away, and this random couple or group of people recognized us from a few tables away, and we're just waving at us from afar, and I was like,
did you do one of those literally turn around?
It was one of those. Yeah, it was one of those K-pot places. So we were going up getting sauces, and they're like, can we get an autograph? I'm like, we're literally mid-birthday dinner, but it's fine, sure. But honestly, because they recognized us, then the owners were like, oh, who are you guys? And then they came and gave us discount. So we were like, okay, cool.
Wow.
So it actually worked
now you're
out,
just you're gonna hire those people to go around with you everywhere.
Exactly.
Who, us? Celebrities?
Yeah.
Who knew?
Oh my gosh.
So funny seeing you here on this one. I want to talk coffee though, because you mentioned it. You started a coffee shop with a lot of teammates that are involved. And I think one of the things first that I thought of when we were talking about this was, I don't know that people realize players' lives in terms of like time commitments. And outside of the games, you train for a little bit every day. And obviously you have to be regimented in what you eat and when you sleep and all of that. But there is a lot of free time. Is that where this idea comes from of, okay, what's something we can all do together in our free time?
It was yes and no. I think a lot of it started as just kind of like a passion project of, we were in preseason and every time we go on away trips, it's like, where can we find the best coffee? Like that's just coffee culture and soccer culture. Like they really do mesh like hand in hand. So we were just like, oh, we want to have the best coffee. And then we're like, oh, actually, why don't we, like, it'd be so cool to start a coffee shop. I think for years I've been on many teams and many players have said, like, we should start a coffee shop. It'd be awesome. And then we were sitting there and we're like, let's just actually do it. Looked into it and we're like, actually, a brick and mortar is definitely not feasible on our salaries to be, a lot more overhead, a lot more upfront costs. So, and we had no idea what we were doing. So we were like, okay, let's actually start with a mobile trailer. And we just dove in and really committed to it. And like I said, the fans have showed up like crazy to kind of get us rolling on that. So it was more so that, but obviously it helps having free time on the side to be able to run it.
So like, is everyone involved day to day? Like it's a large group of people that are working on one thing.
Yeah, there's 6 of us. So, I mean, we definitely have like delegated roles. Some people obviously aren't in market anymore. So there's different things that we've done to kind of make sure everybody stays involved and stays incorporated in that. But no, I mean, like there's people who would take more responsibility on like operations versus marketing versus day-to-day business stuff versus running payroll versus, all those things. So it's delegated out, but.
Jordan, you've tasted the coffee, right?
I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there. I had a special barista on my visit. Kristen poured me a cup of coffee, made that latte art.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was like one of those flower things. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
Did you train on that one or you just figured it out on the fly?
I have a Breville, one of those at-home Brevilles, and I have done attempted to make latte art for a long time, but it's way easier on the nice machine. So we've been practicing a little bit, but I was always the milk pourer in the trailer, so I've gotten some practice at it.
That was your delegation.
It was the tulip. That's the one.
Yeah, it was beautiful. And it has just like this city has latched down. Not only now do you have a brick and mortar, but it's like packed on the weekends. You have people hanging out. That's got to be a really cool thing to be able to, yes, you guys are a part of the community, but it feels like you guys are now like in the community. You're a part of this. You go and hang out there. People come up and talk to you. Has that been really special to have your boots on the ground and say, hey, we're a part of this now?
Oh, yeah. I think with the trailer, it's so cool to see everybody just show up for us. And it was a lot of fans and some random people would be like, what's happening? And hop in line. And to see that translate to the brick and mortar has been really cool. And we have, a big reason we started was to connect with the community more. And this has allowed us to so much more. I mean, we go in and every day always see fans in there. We'll see repeat customers and we just walk in, get to say, hey, chat with them. And I feel like they really appreciate seeing us in there and like being able to connect with us at a different level as well. It's a lot more personal. So some days I'm baristas, some days, Mal's in there making something, Vanessa's making coffee. We got E-baller running the cash register. So, I think it's really cool and a unique way to be able to connect with the fans. And yeah, it's been so awesome to just, when you're in there, especially game days, we run a little promotion. If you're wearing KC Current gear, you get a percentage off. So they come in, they're wearing their gear, and just getting to chat with them is really cool. And sometimes you get people who don't recognize you, and it's even better because they'll be like, oh yeah, the team's so great, whatever. And you're like, yeah, they're awesome. Mine's just like making coffee. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I feel like we need to roll out a coffee program across NWSL. I feel like every squad should be doing this.
Is there expansion in the future?
That is our hope.
Maybe in your hometown?
Yeah, seriously. Well, I think I know somebody I can chat with about that, maybe.
Just throw another cap on my head.
Yeah, seriously. No, I think we definitely have the long-term goal of franchise or expansion into other NWSL markets. But need to kind of get some time under our belt here and get established and get kind of our processes and everything nailed down here
Love it.
before we get there. But that is a goal. Yeah.
We wanted to talk a little on the field.
Yep.
You have, we talked about all the championships, 26 goals in your career. As I ask about them, as you think back through them, is there one that sticks out as like, this is the highlight that I want shown, or this is the number one memory that I have of scoring in NWSL?
That's hard.
They're like children. You love them all
Probably,
differently.
yeah.
Right.
Probably a couple moments stick out. I would say scoring in the semifinal in 2022 to kind of secure us going to the final. That was my only playoff goal. So I think that one is definitely meaningful.
That was Seattle, right?
It was against Seattle in Seattle, yeah. And we played so well that game, and then we played so poorly in the final.
I know.
It's terrible. But that one was really, I think impactful for me. And then I think just the game, like just scoring the 4 goals against Houston, like that's just, I don't think I'll ever forget that day. That was awesome.
Yeah. 4 goals is a hard thing to forget.
Yeah. So, and honestly, I think my second goal in that game is probably one of my favorites I've scored in my career.
Okay, tell us about it.
Well, it's just perfect. We were like stuck in our corner, like if you're way back corner, and we had to throw in, and we threw the ball in, and it was just perfectly like went through the 6s, back to the center backs, went to like Jaylene in the left back, and like it was just like it was right off of the training field. Our 10 like popped into the pocket and like dragged the center back out, and then the ball's perfectly around the corner, and then I ran onto it and chopped it and then hit it far post. Like pretty good goal far post. So. It was just perfect all around it. Thank you. Should I do play-by-play?
You should 100% do play-by-play. On top of that, that was like poetry soccer. You could probably just sell recordings of like, back through the 6, bounced off the center back, pulling. Like that's everything we love to hear. I don't even need to see the play.
Good. Perfect.
Yeah.
You got it in your head
visualization.
Now.
Yeah. Yes. The thing about you, Kristen, is you're a winner, right? We've talked about the championships, the shields that you've won. What do you think it takes to win in NWSL, and has that changed over the years?
I will say I do not think it's changed, and even though I haven't told you what it is yet, but I feel like the main key to success is buying into a system and having a leader that you believe in their vision and then can buy into that, and then they can execute that. So it's really hard. And then on top of that, I guess that kind of combined in that is finding the right group of players to buy into that system. So, when I was in North Carolina, we had a really defined system and an exact way of training, how you had to show up every day, how you had to come to training with your mindset and your mentality and your work ethic and all of these things. And if you didn't fit that, you were gone. Like that was just how it was. And it was like, if you're not fitting this culture, if you're not fitting our style, you weren't going to make it. And a lot of players either left on their own because of that, or they, got traded or whatever it was, and we found players who would buy into that system and would fit kind of the culture. So it was, maybe sounds a little cutthroat, but if you weren't going to provide what the team needed you to provide, then it was just like, okay. But it wasn't, it was all sorts of things, but the main thing is like, are you going to buy into the system, or are you going to be like constantly complaining about something, or constantly like pushing back about tactics or pushing back about things? And that's not to say we can't obviously strive to be like, hold your ground and stand up for yourself and all of those things. But it's like, at the end of the day, are we going to all buy into the system and not question everything that's going on? So I think, buying in, finding a group of players that will buy in, and a leader who can get a group to buy in.
That is fascinating to hear, because I think from the outside, we talk about a lot of these teams. There are some people in sports, soccer being one of them, and I think this is part of the global nature of like, they think that the energy of a little chaos or being unknown, like there's a lot of different styles, I think, for how to run a group. What you are saying, I think, is one that I know that I would more enjoy being a part of. I'm curious how this connects then to the 2025 Shield winners who have set the points record and have won the most games in league history.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that Vladko has come in and done a really good job of that, of just setting really clear expectations and giving a really clear game plan and in finding players, again, who fit that and are willing to put in the work to do those things. So, I mean, you see the growth of us from last year to this year, and, you know, that's obviously just takes time, too, with new coaches and stuff. But I think, yeah, I mean, we all know exactly what's expected of us on the daily, you know, whether it's at training or in matches. It's, if you're not doing this, like, you're not going to cut it. And that's just, again, the mindset and mentality here. And, you know, you're being asked to do this, go do it. And if you can't, then it is what it is. But yeah, so I think it's this very similar concept and principles that, you know, made us successful in North Carolina as well.
Yeah. I love that. Thanks for that insight. And it's funny when you're saying that about Vlatko. We had a broadcast call with him the other day. I think I said it on the actual game on Saturday against Gotham. Is he said, when you're on defense, you're on my time. When you're on offense, you can do whatever you want. But when you're on defense, you're on my time, which was a little bit of that mindset and buying into that this team, if it does anything, it works really hard off the ball to win the ball back. Exactly. So that is so evident. We only have you for a few more minutes. So I think one of the things that there's two main things that pop up to me. One, you've been in this league for like 11 years. There's got to be a good old untold story, Chris, that needs the light of day. Needs to see the light of day. It has to.
Sure.
It has to.
You should have pre-prepped me for this.
I should have pre-prepped you for that. I should have. That's bad production on my end.
Not to throw you under the bus. No, I'm kidding.
No, you should. You absolutely should. This is what teammates are for. You can be honest with them.
An untold story. What's your other question while I think about it?
She's gonna come back to me and send me a voice note that I can then add to the podcast.
Yes.
My other question is, what is the thing that you are so excited to never do again?
Oh my gosh.
For me, the 300 shuttles. Never wanted to see one of those again. Ever. Or the beep test.
Yeah.
Never.
I was gonna say some sort of fitness, like the fact that I never have to get on a line and somebody is like okay with a timer in their hand and is like ready to go. Like I can just go on a nice leisurely jog. Like I think I'll be pretty pumped to do not, like literally never have to do timed fitness. Actually,
what was that one you had to do in North Carolina? The
suicide mile.
Suicide mile.
Don't love that name. Does not sound fun.
It was not, and we did it once a month, and it was just like this mental thing of like, okay, you just have to do it, and it was all timed, but it was like, just beat your time, but of course you're always competing with everyone else. I'm like always almost last in this thing, because I'm like, this is horrible. So,
but you finished.
I finished it.
What is the
I would
thing?
say anytime fitness.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't know you.
No,
I was just going to... We're on one.
All I was going to say was fitness, some sort of timed fitness, or like max effort, like zone 5, like 3-minute run or something. Like, no, thank you.
No, never again. You never have to do that again, which is so awesome. And what is the thing you're going to miss the most?
Oh, being around all the people that I'm around every day. 100%, hands down. I'm like, that's one thing I'm really nervous about. Is like, I just love people. I love connecting with people. I love talking with people. I love joking and laughing and all these things. And I don't know exactly what I'm doing next, but like, I just know that is going to be a hard thing to replicate. So I'm definitely going to just miss all of the different personalities and different conversations every single day, and just all of the laughter that has come with it.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know exactly what's next, and that is then ties into, you've talked about your role talking to people on across the team. Does soccer still interest you? Is it coaching, front office? Is it away from the game? Like, how do you sort of think about that?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think I want to coach. honestly, they put in more hours than we do. So I'm like, I'm good on that. I am really interested in, like, I do feel like I have a lot of knowledge to give. I've been a part of a lot of really successful organizations, and I don't know, I feel like I have a lot of insight. So I some sort of advisory, something I could be interested in, helping teams develop or build cultures or something along those lines as well. I have an opportunity to stay like within the current more front office stuff, so we'll see if that pans out or not. But yeah, there's quite a few opportunities in front of me, which is great. I'm very blessed to have options. Very grateful to have options. So just kind of figuring out what I want to end up doing. But
yeah, well, it's nice to have options. Absolutely,
it is.
And that is the worst part, not having teammates anymore.
I know.
It's the worst part.
Ugh.
It's the worst part. But the good thing is, Kristen, you've made so many good friends over the years. And so I'm sure that will open up a lot of doors as well. Last, like, sentimental thing I have, when you're older and say you have grandkids and you're telling them about playing in NWSL, like, what are you bragging about your career? Like, I used to do this. I used to do that.
I would probably... I'd probably just have to lean into the awards and the accolades. I think I'm going to be like, yeah, well, guess what? I won 4 shields. I won, hopefully, 4 championships, So I think I'd have to lean into those aspects of things. Or it could be, like, people that I played with that are actually big names. I'd be like, Lynn Williams? Yeah. She's one of my best friends, and I played with her. Like,
it'll just be like,
or,
Grandma Lynn
against
to
someone
them,
else.
then.
Yeah. Well, yeah, true. They'll know. Grandma Lynn, Auntie Lynn. But any other, that could be a cool brag too. Any of those flexes, like, yeah, I played against her. There's like a cool picture of me like defending Tobin in the 2017 championship, and I'm like, well, that's kind of cool. Like, I defended Tobin Heath once.
It's also kind of cool that you've won 7 trophies and maybe 8. Is the hope
hopefully,
at the end of this year. I think you could sort of stand on that stuff by itself as well. Incredible career. We appreciate you coming on and chatting with us. Based off the play-by-play, we will have you on more, or we will be listening to you somewhere else. Congratulations on an unbelievable career. Good luck for the rest of the season, and maybe after you win the title, we'll do this all again in San Jose.
Perfect. Can't wait.
Thanks, Kristen.
You guys, I thought of a story.
Oh my gosh.
We don't even have to edit it in. I didn't stop yet. Go.
I thought of a story.
Timing.
I was just thinking of so after we won the championship in 2019, we were in North Carolina, and my family has always come out to all the championships, and my Nana is legendary, first of all, guys.
Yes.
She is known as Nana to everybody. She's awesome. And and after the game, we had booked a beer bike to go around North Carolina the day after the game. And we're like, this is going to be so much fun, whatever. And we're all like chatting about who's coming. And I'm like, okay, Nana's still in town. Can she come on the beer bike? And everyone was like really hesitant, like extremely like, I don't think we want a Nana on our beer bike when we're celebrating like winning the championship. So it was hilarious. I was like, well, she's coming. So she came with us on the beer bike. I have a pretty epic photo of all of us, and she's just on there with us, like, did the whole bike ride with us, did everything with us, and people still bring it up to me today, and they talk about how awesome it was to have her there, and she's just out at the bars ordering margaritas with us, and it was like nobody had to be censored or anything because she was just down for it all. So honestly, it was hilarious. And Sam, to this day, Sam Hughes is always like, I can't believe, like, I was so concerned about her coming, like, that it was going to be no fun because she was there. She's like, it ended up being a blast. So, yeah, so it was kind of fun having Nana there celebrating that with us on the beer bikes.
That is legendary.
That really is.
Yeah.
That really is. You've heard a lot of different celebration stories, but not many that include your grandma.
Not many,
Nana.
Dominating the beer bikes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
Yeah. Next level stuff. Well, I'm glad that we were able to stay on long enough for that. And if you get any other great idea stories, you can still send them to Jordan, and we will put them in the show as well.
Perfect.
Oh, man, I was about to hit the stop button on the record, and Kristen came up with the story about Nana. So we got Kling's mom, we've got Kristen's grandmother, all the people that we want at a party if we had the choice. So much going on in the women's soccer world. Of course, we didn't touch on the World Cup bid announcement that the U.S. made alongside Mexico, Costa Rica, and Jamaica, but we did talk about that for a while on the Kickback Committee with Susanna Fuller yesterday, so you can go listen to that show, and we've got a lot more coming for you as the MLS playoffs are on the verge of starting. Reminder, we are going to have a bracket challenge, a system that we created where you choose winners from every single league, and then all those points are mixed together to get an eventual winner. So the way it'll work is that you will have a points total next to each team, and with the ones you choose, the bigger the underdogs they are, the more points you get if they win. We want people doing this across MLS, USL Championship, USL League One, and NWSL. So over the next 3.5 weeks, all three of those leagues, their playoffs are going to start. And we are so excited for this time of year, this season. And we wanted to combine that passion about soccer in North America across all these leagues, even though they're different formats, different timelines, different schedules. So we created this system. Go in, click on the links. They're all across our social media, and join. And if you think you only want to do one league, you can pop in and just do that one league. But I think it will be really fun to test yourselves across all the different leagues in the US and Canada. Thank you to all of you for listening, and we'll talk to you all again very, very soon.